I'm so glad that you can join me today and happy to be reading for you this afternoon. And thank you so much, Laura, for inviting me. So I really do appreciate it. I was working on a bunch of poems that I started, finally got them done. So I'm going to read quite a few of them today. The first two are actually from last year, but I didn't finish them until now. So you're going to get the first test run of the poems. So the first three that I'm going to read for you today are nature-inspired poems. And this first one is about something that I love to do in nature. Final swim, last day to glide in cool ocean, unusually hot day. Second weekend of September, by myself. My man Larry's working tonight, needs his sleep. I desire to swim in salty waters. Seaweed floats with me, ripped loose from its watery anchor. Dense, moss-like at water's edge, tide receding, gulls gather, feast on exposed shellfish. Children jump on rocks at shoreline, pleasure in a non-school day, yell in abandon and joy. Sea rippling azure, sun lemon glittering along its length. Trees yet leafy, vibrant green branches sway, evergreens brooding around the pool, curves of hazy mountains in distance. This afternoon will hold me for a while, keep my desire for ocean dips in memory, the sense and sound of waves, and almost until next June. Autumn's events begin tomorrow. Word, poetry readings, visual art due, writing new poems for my feature. But now I savor this hot blue sky day, this afternoon, this moment. Days in November. Verdant leaves, green leaves edged in chrome decay, multicolored allure of fall, blanket of fronds, one tree, sprinkling of cardinal foliage against its neighbor's bald umber branches. Nearby warm blonde against beryl sky. Sun pierces through vermilion leaves, alters them to vibrant orange. Beyond, cedars and firs tinted light as moss. Silhouettes, crows noisily scatter home to Burnaby. Tasty tangerine sunset, air chill and crisp as winter slides in to displace fall. And this one I wrote last month, October at the beach. First beach at sunset on the predicted final nice day for a week, drifting to ocean's edge, witnessing and heeding waves subtly brush the shore, a susurrus, shoes dipping into gentle depressions in sand as I move, geese bedding down for the night, another flock honking loudly in distance, disturbed by the unknown. Splendid sunset eyes searing orange at one point and juicy lemon bouncing quietly on ocean's surface. Mountains lurk, disappearing in darkening sky. Few musicians regale us with strumming and songs. Dogs walk their people. I spot a seal bobbing, watching all curiously. Everyone out for a stroll on the stunning October evening. I wander the beach, sipping Starbucks pecan oat latte, crunching on unsteady sand, inhaling essence of brine, expanding breath, heart calm, rejuvenating my spirit in earth and sea. And these next set of poems are travel poems, but since my partner Larry and I didn't do any big trips this year, it's just local BC travel. And this first one is very funny that Bonnie read this, but I actually have a Penticton poem as well. And so this March was actually the first time that I went there. And this is called On the Road to Penticton. Greens, many shades flooding my eyes, mountains covered in pallid stone and gloomy evergreens, blush of mint, deciduous willows, bright yellow green, trailing branches diagonal in breeze. Occasional trees, delicate blush of cherry blossoms, ivory apple trees, red buds and upbeat daffodils. My love, Larry's driving beside luxuriant farmland. Planting is proceeding and new homes built. Through Abbotsford, vibrant grass, fallow fields for the year, past farms, rows of grapevines, yellow canola, eagles and geese fly, rivers meandering around roadways, streams of snowmelt cascade down cliffs, stands of dark, burned trees, stark evidence of last year's hundreds of wildfires. Next hillsides unscathed, green, a few deer grazing. We head to Hope for lunch, break to breathe in aromatic winds and savor succulent fresh fish and chips, home diner. Then into mountains clothed in snow, wedged deep in vales, ears popping in altitude. A long winding highway from city to rich farmland to lush mountainous forest and parched ranchland. In 6 hours, on our way to Penticton for my art show opening. And this is on the same trip coming home. Hills of sage, hills of grape, wine, and wild sage, gray-green, fragrant herb, rising up sandy mountains, delayed to pick a bunch, much thanks. Occasional evergreens, higher elevations, snow-capped, vineyards and orchards speed past, break for delectable wine and cheese tasting at Upper Bench Winery and Creamery before noon, not our habit, bottles to savor later. Pause at tawny sand beach around Skaha Lake. Larry's driving after a joyful night, my art in a group opening Penticton Art Gallery, sweltering, full of artists, eclectic mix of art lovers, local, Vancouver and Canada wide, show curated by old friend Kagan. Approaching Caramillo's, twisting roads through mountains and canyons, passing happy jackass orchards, stopping at a fruit stand run by growers, picking a bag of pink ladies, honey and sparkling cider, sun gleaming on hills above as we wrap around switchbacks, clothed in fir and spruce, unfurling to straight highways through farmland, heading home to Vancouver. And these next beg your pardon, sorry, this is still one travel poem called Summer Travels from August 9th. Off ramps and grapevines, my man and I zip past, alabaster bark on trees, limbs shivering in gusts, abundant fields of berries and corn, coiled bales of hay, hawk soars overhead. Towasson entering into it, past greenhouses of ripening peppers, horses and cows grazing placidly, rumbling on a double-decker bus to White Rock. perfect day to visit beach, scorching with clear skies, although we forgot our bathing suits. Strolling along shore at low tide with Larry, heat baking our bones until we cool off with ice cream and sorbet. Hunt in shops for a little something, nothing catches my eye. Saunter to a quieter section of beach, snake slithers past our feet. It's been years since I've seen one. Gulls cry, longest pier calling us, scent of ocean soothes us. Dinner with a sea view, windswept rooftop patio, gazing below, family of geese block roadways. People shoo them away. Stubbornly they waddle back the way they came, hindrance to other cars. We laugh from our height. Surprise, no car honks at them. Amusement and fresh, luscious oysters and fish from nearby sea, celebrating the tranquil day before our anniversary. And these next two poems were written to and inspired by the artwork of two different artists in the JCC gallery. This first one is from last September, and it was written to the art by Sarur Abdullahi. And her work is really fascinating because when you're far away from it, it looks completely abstract, but it's not until you really get quite close to it that it has these subtle parts that are buildings and people and other things. So it was fascinating to write to. Worship, opalescent, semi-precious stones, amethyst and aquamarine, hills, arcades, and domes, ancient temple rising up to goddess of beauty, fertility, and love, Aphrodite, now abandoned, unvisited, yet it maintains its style, grace, and presence. A place to explore silently and wonder at citizens who created sanctuary, how they persisted and worshipped ages ago. A living township, windows warmly lit, people silhouettes indoors and interiors, arched doorways and high walls, all border the holy place. Hill hulking behind it, almost inaccessible. Even so, hundreds of lives flowed through it, as yet many do. And this was written in the summer to the completely abstract and powerful art of Brian Glickman. And this is written to one of his blue paintings. Opposition, blood in the sea, runes of sod and aqua, swirling in opposing directions, turmoil of extremes, lustrous and somber, faint and opulent hues, primitive survival, creation and death, divergent forces of renewal and decay, faith and disbelief, assault and gather back. External impulses collide, heave me high, unhindered by space, twirl me in distant waters. And these next two poems are about spiritual seeking and emotional seeking and healing, trying to get some balance and move forward and get some peace. And this first one is older, written in 2018, but it was published last year in Poetry Breakfast, which is an online journal. And what they do is publish one poem a day, right in first thing in the morning. So you get your poetry with your breakfast. And if you're interested in submitting, it is poetrybreakfast.com. Inner channel. hovering on the verge of innovation and transition, understanding perception and essence, chrysalis, a sensitive precursor to wings. Internal whispers say it's early, not yet, almost, nourishing myself for that heightening expansion physically with fresh picked nurturing meals and natural healing, rejuvenating my heart with love for myself, my man, family, and friends, finding laughter within. Sorry, lost my place. Spirit amplifying, rambling in gardens, parks, and beaches, nature replenishing all. No, not time yet to adopt a feisty cat. Too soon for my new class still in development. Too early for a new gallery to show. No payment from my art and teaching. Half-formed pupa, I strain, cocoon, restless. Push boundaries until I realign. Dislocate, crack open. Gain in a divergent, healthier direction. My inner silence says, not yet. Rest, abide, heal, and reinvent yourself. I settle in acceptance, pause, listen to this potent subterranean wisdom. And this next poem was published in 2020. Was written, then, and it was published at Quill's Canadian Poetry Magazine, their pandemic issue last year. Coping, during lockdown. And the crow soars across pastel skies, gusts in the upper boughs of trees. And I sit composed on balcony, breathing deep, enclosed by green, flourishing entities. And I vibrate sound in my chest, through my skull, infuses me with energy, calms me. And interruptions don't derail me. Cat, cars, people, pandemic, news, all fade. Only sounds I hear are bells, breeze, and And I have two more poems for you today. They are, again, nature-inspired ones. And this one I wrote in September. And it's about something I was hoping was going to happen. But finally, when we readjusted things on our balcony, it did. Year of hummingbird smiles. Pint-sized wings whir, buzz, not flutter. Hummingbird direct and wary, easily spooked. One click or two announce her visit. Long trilling song means dissatisfaction, attracted to scarlet petunia and basil flowers. Female hummer, nut brown body and cream throat, most frequent visitor. Her fluffy drab baby spent 3 days with us in spring, resting on tomato support wire, perfect for tiny feet. Then blurred wings to our nectar, repeating all day, safe from rain and predators. A rare sight, female and her iridescent mate, charged with nectar, create amazing aerial dance around each other above the garden, following one another to neighbors' evergreens. Male, jade green with fuchsia throat, brave one, hovering over to puzzle what I am, buzzing closer and closer until he's a few feet away. I freeze. He gives me a piercing look. Wings blurring, disappears. I anticipate their daily drop-in, smiling. A bright spot to my day. And this final poem is a love and nature poem. Dancing Waves. My love and partner dialing oldies, WW2 era tunes on his cell speaker, rouses my craving to dance with him. Lightheartedly clasping one another, we venture a spin, giggling and chuckling at our fumbled attempt. Before long, we're escaping to Second Beach, revel in blazing sun and balmy breezes beyond the cusp of September. Drifting in oceans and undulations, tide jumping in seaweed, crisp, briny waters, refreshing our souls. So that's all the poems I have to read for you today. So I decided to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to show you some of my artwork because I know most people don't usually do that. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to start with a couple of pieces of art that were in the Penticton Art Gallery. And they are, here we go, in the Gifts of Madness show. Oops, you can't see the whole thing. There we go. And it was, I had 3 pieces actually at the show, and then I was one of the people chosen to be in the touring part of the exhibition, and Kakan Go, which I know you know, Bonnie, he was actually the curator for that show. So I was very lucky to know him. And so this was from, I think, 2020 or 2021. And so, yes, it is about, it's called Pandemic Dark Journey. So it is about the pandemic. And so these trees here, these are in like pairs, or 2 here, bunch, 1 here by itself. So really it's about how we couldn't get together. We couldn't see our distant family or travel or go see our friends. And so that's all about our isolation. And the hands reaching, of course, we weren't supposed to hug or touch or get close enough to anybody. So that's what this one is about. And I actually wrote a small poem when I was doing it. So I will read that poem to you now. We are stark trees, bare of leaves and social contact, assembly of trees, are small bubbles of 1, 2, or a few hands reaching to connect, but can't touch. All right, and this is another one from the show in Penticton, and it was in 2 locations in Vancouver again. I'll maybe go back a bit, so you'll see more of it. This is called Inanna, Final Gate from the Underworld. And this is actually an older piece of art, but it just fit their theme. And this was from a time period after my divorce. So yes, it was about me having a broken heart, and about also trying to rebuild my life after that time, because it wasn't just a broken heart financially, emotionally, physically, financially, everything just fell apart at that time. The art group I was with, I was teaching and I could no longer teach. So this is about that time period in my life. And in a final gate from the underworld, this is the gate, and the goddess of Inanna is the goddess of death and rebirth. So she's a European goddess. I forget what country she's from, but so yeah, she is from there. So I was trying to rebuild my life and find new love, find friends, and all that. So this period, it was a horrible time in my life, but the one good thing that came out of it is that I started writing poetry. So that was at least one wonderful thing that came out of it. And I met so many wonderful poetry friends, many of you here, and many wonderful people through the through art groups and everything. So yeah, come a little closer. So I'll also show you some pieces that I did just after my mom died. And I'll show you how I do them too. So it's interesting. They're called collagraphs. Oh, I'll go back again. And this one is called Button Blooms. This one is Forest of Mother's Lace, because all the lace and buttons and other things in here were actually my mother's. After she passed, she was a clothing designer, women's clothing, and she had all these wonderful pieces of lace and findings and everything that were left over. And so I was able to take a lot of it home with me, and it was wonderful to create a series in a way honoring her, and also on celebrating our wonderful forests and parks and everything in Vancouver. So let me show you here. So yeah, this one in particular. And the way you do these are quite different than usual prints. If you do a woodcut or a lino cut, you carve into it and you print with that. But this is the opposite. You actually glue things onto a plate. And so it's like a collage, but then you print with it. So that's how this works. And I will also show you one more. And this one, let me see if I can get rid of all the glare. And this one I had in the Ontario College of Art and Design alumni show in 2018 in Toronto. So it was very exciting to be able to go back to my hometown and do that. So it's wonderful. And I'll show you two more from the same time period that I created those collagraphs. And here we go, you can see them. So I created this series. Again, after my mom passed, I found all these wonderful photographs of my family. So I wanted to do something to honor them all, because all the older generation is gone, uncle, mom, dad, you know, grandparents. So I wanted to do something with the wonderful photos, most of which I had never seen before, like both of these. This is my grandmother and my mom as a little girl, and this one is my parents. And all the flowers and everything like that, and the plate are from photos I took around my neighborhood. So it was a wonderful way to celebrate their life and the place that I am living. So that's all I have to show you today. So thank you for listening and for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you again for allowing me to read today.